one of our best little birdies, she discovered the Gare Bear's dad is still with us. And I hope he makes an appearance.
I do too. Also, maybe not though, because sometimes it's sad. You wheel Kirk Douglas out there to announce an award and everybody goes, who made this call?
There's a lot of stuff on TV, but not all of it's good. In fact, a lot of it's bad TV.
Hey, what's going on? It's Bad TV. My name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one Patrick Hickey.
Great to be here.
Okay, it is week 6. What are we here to talk about? Week 6.
Is that a question?
Of the Golden Bachelor. Oh my gosh, did we talk about it last week? This thing is moving way too quickly. Way too quickly. I don't
want it to end?
I don't want to get ahead of myself because I know we have public service announcements to get to.
But you're itching to get to your
I
canes?
cannot even imagine what kind of just dribble we would be watching in a regular season of The Bachelor. Week 6 usually puts us at some kind of dinner theater, some kind of bachelor or bachelorette needing to suss out unhappiness with the group, but we're nowhere near the end when we're just with chuggy youths trying to find love that's going to last a year and a half on Instagram. This needs more time, and I hope when Sandra is the bachelorette, we will have a regular season of this show. And I know that the elderly do not have the stamina of people who are on creatine and who have gyms themselves. And they're on the show so that those gyms can gain more notoriety and become the zoo of Indianapolis. But we need the show to be longer. It's too good to condense it this much. What if The Godfather was an hour and 20 minutes? That's not enough to tell that story.
It's a great point. It had to be longer.
It had to be longer.
So Dill, let me just graft my thoughts onto your thoughts. I'm going to make a final plea to Disney,
100
ABC,
canes.
Mickey Mouse. Oh, that was your thoughts?
No.
Mickey, please forego the season that you have of the chuggy younger Bachelor, which is probably in the can. Shelf that motherfucker.
Don't ever air it.
What you do is everybody needs to work through the holidays, get the Golden Bachelorette rolling, and then drop it in the first week of January. That's what America wants. That's what America wants. Please.
If your employees come to you and they go, oh, but I want to spend time with my family, tell them to shut up.
Because America needs the Golden Bachelorette.
Tell them that there are families out there who are with their families who need the Golden Bachelorette, and that is the sacrifice you have made working for me. Haha. This thing needs to get going. I want more Golden Bachelorette as soon as humanly possible.
Dylan, did I catch this right? Is next week the finale?
Next week
is
the tell-all.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And we can announce this because he's not a C-rat. But we will be, and I think the sulk might be wasted on the women tell-all. I mean, we might want to just hold off until the finale with sulk. But the sulk, creator of Dads. Will be joining us before the season is up. We'll have him on probably to break down either the women tell all or the finale.
Oh, and for new listeners that have grabbed on to Bad TV's coverage of the Golden Bachelor, the Sulk is a famous a guest of ours in our coverage of the Bachelor Bachelorette franchise.
One of the few guests we've ever wanted to come on to the show.
He's also not only the creator of Dads, but also a executive producer on a little show called The Family Guy.
Yeah. And it's just called Family Guy, but
I've never seen it.
Really?
No.
Huh. Okay. Wow, that's crazy.
I only watch Bad TV. Hey, do you want to get into some public service announcements, Dylan?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Get over to patreon.com/anotherpodcast network. Dylan and I are doing some of our best work there. Every week for $5, you get a free show called Another Podcast Show, in which Dylan and we're on fire, quite frankly.
You've never seen a single episode of Family?
Maybe like a half of one or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And so some of our peers that do podcasts, they do Patreon and they'll give you a 10-minute episode for $5 once a week. Dylan and I give you almost like a full hour of us just shooting the jazz.
Yeah.
And then we also...
I cried on the last episode.
You did. You weeped. That was sad.
Well, I didn't weep. I just got teary-eyed.
You did. Mm-hmm.
And that was a real human moment.
Yes, I felt it. It was palpable.
So that's what we give you. The other shows who are our peers and who we love very much, you know, some of them, essentially you go to the Patreon and they go, oh, thank you so much.
Thanks for $5.
They spit in your face.
Yeah, not us. We entertain you.
No.
And then
we go down on you for as long as you need.
Yeah, that's what
we do.
Yeah. We go down on you. And we always give you 2 shows on Patreon at that $5 tier. So you'll also get our coverage of season 2 of Below Deck Med with Captain Sandy. We'll be recapping that there. So that's like 2 hours more of content a week for just $5. Do it.
Okay.
Oh, and then get in there just in time for my coverage of my episode of PMZ this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to give my full review of the new phenomenon known as naked attraction.
Oh, wow. And Matthew Perry's dead. I thought you were going to say I'm going to give my full review on Matthew Perry's very sad life.
I'm going to touch on that.
Okay,
and I got some juicy stuff because I happen to have some intimate details about Matthew Perry that I'll share there. But Naked Attraction, I'll give my full review there, and we're going to have some fun because I never knew the kind of chasm of
foreskin.
I've never seen penises that look that different. One of the goddamn things looks like a crater in the moon. I can't describe it.
Yeah.
But what we'll do there is I'm going to have pics of specific penises that I've chosen from the first episode, and Dylan will describe them and kind of categorize them with the closest thing to an animal.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And I hope that I
one of them looks like an anteater.
I hope that I have more free reign than to just find an animalistic analog, and I hope that I can use my entire vocabulary to describe the phallic horror that show.
I don't know why women would ever want to have sex with men, given what I've seen on that show.
So let's get into the show. My canes, pots, and thoughts are this. Hometowns are our favorite because they're gauntlets. When it comes to Gary, though, everybody gets peanut butter stuck on the roof of their mouth. I mean, this guy is just walking through these people left and right.
Uh-huh.
And this is not to say that it's not that it's not genuine. He is Gare Bear. But because he is Gare Bear, this is very smooth. Now, there are some cracks beginning to show, and Teresa is a dead woman walking. Not because... No.
Because she's on the chopping block.
Because she's on the chopping block. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't...
Yeah, I think she's going to go, too.
Yeah, 100 canes.
Yeah, 100 canes. Okay, well, Dylan, you thought peanut butter just walked through this with carefree, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I disagree, my friend. It's nice to know when you're rounding third into a century of living that the pheromones can catch up to you. I might be wrong here, but did he tell all 3 women that he's in love with them, or just 2 of them? 2. Okay, well, that's still Ben Higgins territory. Ben Higgins got in quite a lot of trouble for telling 2 women that he was falling in love with them. So I think he's going to have some explaining to do, and he set a trap for himself, and it's going to come back to kick him in his droopy balls at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it must be just crazy to think. I mean, if you have a center seam on any underwear at that age, it has to split it splits it. You have to have a pouch. It can't be designed with any kind of sewing in the middle, because you know what? It'll bring it up like that, and then it'll lobster claw it. You know what I mean?
Well, the point I was making, Dylan, is he better wear a cup down there because I don't think one of these ladies is going to be too. But
even the
happy
cup
with him.
would be challenging because were you to just put it on, you'd have to put the cup on in a gathering motion. You wouldn't be able to just cinch it there because then we would not be protecting the testicles because they're way past the beak of the bottom of the cup. It has to be a gatherer.
Should we?
How many pots?
100.
Okay.
100 canes.
So we begin in Los Angeles, California. And we take a ride to the airport. Now, I don't know if they were trying to lie to us about LAX. I don't. It's like a what's that effect where you see Kellogg's and it's the wrong color, but it's the right. It happens when the Hadron Collider turns on.
I'm not sure your reference.
So he goes to the Burbank Airport.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, Dill, he lets us know right out of the gate that the hometowns are going to be different than the ones we're accustomed to on the Bachelor franchise. We won't be meeting any dads who typically have a lot of questions, concerns about breaking their precious daughter's
Mandela
hearts.
effect.
Oh, Mandela effect? What is
Yeah. Well, it stems from, I think everybody thought Nelson Mandela was a white guy, but then he was a black guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, how could you mess that up?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I feel that these hometowns, Gary's pretty happy he's going to dodge a bullet.
Yeah. Well, he's off first to Shrewsbury, New Jersey.
Shrewsbury, Darren.
Let's talk about the leg wraparounds with this cast.
Sure.
Because it's very, very different when you have a crop of elderly.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll explain what happens here. We have a jog, a slight stagger by Gary Bumney, came back from NAM.
Yeah.
And we don't get a toddler jump.
No,
we don't.
Because the hip flexors don't really have a lot of lubrication. One, they don't have a lot of lubrication, and one, the muscles are not strong enough to heave the hips up. And that's sad.
Really is. Age is a tough thing. Hey, Del, it's worth mentioning because I thought Sandra, sorry to digress for a second, I thought her being released from this competition for love was... I don't think we got enough of Sandra because did she even show up to the final rose ceremony? I think she was still taking a shit.
Yeah,
I think they left her in the mansion.
There wasn't enough ceremony surrounding her departure. But it was nice to see this episode that they did show us a little vignette checking in on her. She is refusing to leave because she doesn't know what's going to happen if she is not by the toilet. And that's what 2 bites of strawberry ice cream can do, because she didn't do all the crazy stuff that Kris Jenner and the rest did. She's Sandra.
Lactose intolerance, Dylan, is one of nature's cruelest tricks. Little Cherry Garcia, next thing you know, you're being held hostage to a toilet for 14 hours.
I think it's Mother Nature's way of correcting our hubris, because who are we to think that we can imbibe in the mother's milk of a different animal? Why is that ours? Right? So it is just showing us that, maybe, although I guess it's really, I guess it's a divine wrath towards Asians, I guess, would be. You know what I mean?
My buddy who's Asian, he couldn't drink vodka, but he was an alcoholic. So he walked around with his face with a rash on it all the time. Poor bastard.
You have to take a Pepsid.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they sit down on the bench and they reflect on their lovely first date where they risked being crushed by a semi-truck and subsequently burned alive by a fuel fire.
Their last date was a journey to San Fernando, and that's a disgusting place where... Who's the guy? And what happened here? I'm starting to see. I got too high. George Miller, or whoever directed Mad Max, was driving around in San Fernando, and the idea struck him like that. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yes.
And that was where they fell in love, and that's where she told him about her dead husband, who did not die of being a drunk like you accused him of being.
Correct.
He died of kidney failure. So we meet Jen, Matt, Charlotte, Mary, and the kids. And I'm just, Gary, the reason I think Gary has it easy because he's meeting people with he has a dead spouse.
Right. Tony.
And who was not fat. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that that's an advantage. Oh, my wife is dead. I'm just saying as a reference point, you've hit certain benchmarks in life. This isn't Tyler Cameron coming in. He's been to Coachella 2 times and he wants to fuck your daughter.
Well, but Dylan, case in point, wants to fuck your daughter. Gary has no resistance because there's no dads there. They're all dead. Yeah. By the way, Alana, one of our best little birdies, she discovered the Gare Bear's dad is still with us. And I hope he makes an appearance.
I do too. Also, maybe not though, because sometimes it's sad. You wheel Kirk Douglas out there to announce an award and everybody goes, who made this call?
Yeah, sometimes we want to remember them, how they were.
Yeah, and Liza Minnelli can't get through what's on the teleprompter. And Lady Gaga is holding her hand, and people are like, it's a little condescending, but I mean, what do you want her to do? She's uncomfortable because Liza Minnelli is having a stroke on stage. So maybe Gary's old enough.
Hey, can I say something about this still? And perhaps, you never know, looks can be deceiving, but it seems like the family's really together here. She's got her daughter Jen's there, her husband Matt.
Charlotte and Mary, the shining twins grown.
That's right. So her own sisters. I have to say this about myself. If I was getting a hometown, my fucking brothers wouldn't show up.
Not Dwayne.
Not Dwayne.
Not Dwayne. I would tell my sister to not come. She'd be too mean. So Gary sits down with the grandkids, and again, I'm just wondering where the chum is. I mean, be not chum in like these kids are chum. I mean, I mean blood in the water. That's what I want here. What we've got is peanut butter just doing duck face selfies with these kids.
Well,
they're very easy to manipulate children who are happy.
Well, perhaps, and I've pointed this out on the podcast. I think in an earlier recap, there's 2 times in your life when you're honest. When you're 6 and when you're 65.
Yeah.
6 when you don't know any better, and 65 you don't give a fuck. One of these grandkids drops a dime on Grammy Teresa. He tells Gary she's so lonely. She buys things at Target that she doesn't actually want, so she can just bring them back and stand in the return aisle to be around people. One time she spent 2 hours in line to return a System of a Down CD. It's really sad.
Yeah. She said this doesn't work. They go, what do you mean, like creatively, or does the CD not work? Let's call it both. I want to return it. So the daughter tries to press him, and
what do you like about my mom?
He doesn't do so great here, but he's peanut butter. So he gets by being sweet and nutty.
Oh, yeah, sweet and nutty. Yeah, peanut butter, sweet and nutty. She says, what do you like about my mom? Oh, I like the way that she looks at me. And she's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you like about my mom?
No, seriously, though, like if he didn't have that premature ejaculation kind of flutter to him, and you you didn't. I did. I'm sorry.
Well, she presses.
But if you didn't have that, the words that he's saying are not great.
They're not. It's just kind of incoherent rambling, as we've seen many, many seasons before.
What do you like about my mother? I love the way that she leans in. That's not good enough, peanut butter.
Nope.
And the reason why it's not good enough is because she's a dead woman walking,
Right.
Teresa.
She's on the chopping block.
Which begs the question, why couldn't we have Sandra with us? Sew her up and give her a colostomy bag. I know that she has just as good of a chance as Teresa. So where is Sandra? You know what I mean?
Well, we know where she is. She's in production offices over at Disney, prepping her for the Be the Bachelorette. Well, I appreciate how daughter Jen presses Gary.
Hey, thanks for helping me out there.
You gotcha, pal. He said, what's it look like if you pick my mom? She nails him down.
Yeah.
And are you falling in love with my mom?
Yeah.
And then Gary, in a Game of Roses chess move,
Oh, yeah.
pulls off a YMB. Your move, bitch.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He says, I don't know right now. I don't know.
Game of Roses gets really crass sometimes. And we're not a fan of that.
No.
No.
You can be funny without being crass.
Disgusting, yeah. And I think the last 20 minutes is evidence enough of that. But as I lie, I'm getting stressed out, which means that I think we should take a break and talk about the benefits of something that can reduce anxiety the way that microdose
Microdose changed my life, Dylan. I take one at night before I go to bed. I have the best night's sleep of my entire life.
Yep.
I don't feel anxious anymore. I get up. There's no like weird side effects. It's wonderful. It has changed my life. Microdose.
Microdose is amazing. It doesn't just help with sleep. When you get so excited about a product, you get a little tongue tied, but it helps with pain. It helps with workout and recovery. It helps with creativity. If you're a painter, a writer, a architect, maybe not architect, but you pop a little microdose and the pistons will start firing. Okay. Microdose is available nationwide. To learn more about microdosing THC, go to microdose.com and use promo code BADTV, lowercase, all one word, to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description. But again, that's microdose.com and code BADTV. So we end this date with a pretty big cane drop.
Damn it.
No, that's okay. No edits in this podcast.
Oh, damn it. I
What
don't know
was
where
that?
I don't know where I lost my cane.
You don't know where you lost the cane? There it is. You found the lost cane. A cane drop is dropped in the Ferris wheel, and I don't want you making any jokes about them fingering each other.
I
okay?
was not going to.
The thing about the Seaside Heights Ferris wheel was that there were no fireworks, literally and figuratively. The fireworks they showed was clearly royalty-free footage. It was a dirty trick pulled on us by Mickey Mouse. Anyone can go to motionarray.com and get footage of fireworks on an evening at a boardwalk, but those fireworks were not exploding for Peanut Butter and Zombie.
Oh, great catch there. Wouldn't it be fun if we had Teresa on as a guest and the only questions we asked were about the fireworks?
Yeah. What was your favorite one, if you can remember? And she'd go, oh, it was so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that cane drop that
it would be like a Shutter Island kind of investigation into something that wasn't there the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, that cane drop represented not I'm starting to fall in love. I am falling in love. That was she is in love. And Gare Bear did not return the favor.
No, he did not. Let's get to
Faith.
Benton City, Washington. Little rural here. Faith rides her horse to the grocery store. What the fuck? What are we in fucking Deadwood? What's going on?
Well, you can do that down near the Equestrian Center over in
in Burbank?
Yeah.
No,
Burbank.
I kid, but people have this misconception of Washington. It's not all Seattle and needles and voodoo donuts. It's not all misfit patches on jean jackets that have shit on them. Washington is a big state. There's a lot of plains there.
Yes.
And once you get over the river, this is where you are.
Mm-hmm. Dill, it's interesting you say that because Faith is a horse lady. And I'm not judging horse people, but it's one of those things that I think you have to share in the same lifestyle or be a free spirit to kind of be into that sort of thing.
Yep.
Personal story, if you don't mind. I was dating.
Can I sing the song, please?
Okay, go ahead.
It's time for a personal story.
Dating a girl. and real nice couple dates. And then on a Saturday, we decided to go to the Renaissance Fair, which takes place here once a year down in beautiful, I think, Riverside. Yeah. And it's for an entire month. And what I didn't realize at the time that we were going there was when I picked her up at her house or apartment was that she was going to be fully wearing the Renaissance garb. Mm-hmm. And then when we went to the Renaissance Fair, she took on an English accent. Mm. She did not tell me she was going to do that.
Yeah.
We spent the entire day there. She didn't want to leave. In fact, she wanted to go back the next day because this is something she's really into. It weirded me out, and I never called her again.
Yeah.
Because that's not something I could ever relate to.
And that was a personal story.
It's like, what a weirdo.
Yeah. Well, when Gary says, "Oh, I feel like I'm perfectly at home here," that is like you saying, "Yeah, we can go back tomorrow." You know, it's just never going to fucking happen.
No. By the way, it's worth mentioning Faith jogs to him, and I think we have a shot for a toddler jump, but it is a no-go.
No-go. And again, that is just the occupational hazard of this cast.
Dill, with your last little thing there, were you saying establishing that she had already Faith establishes with Gary that she plans on staying in Washington State?
Yeah. So when the whole thing with Faith, and I feel their love, and their love makes me love, and I love their love, but this doesn't seem like it's going to work. We'll explore this as we go through, but we've got Joan. Didn't like her at all.
That's not the sister. Beth is the sister, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joan's a bit of a witch, eh? Brennan, Nick, and Beth. And Gary is very on the entire time. He's so on with these people, and I think it's because he's got nerves because he really does love Faith.
This is his favorite. Can we agree this is the front runner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the front runner. But again, logistical nightmare, and he's so delusionally optimistic as one is when they are in love.
Well, that's right. That's what love does to you. It makes you completely lose any control of logic or practicality.
Yeah, but when there is no real hope of recreation, one would think that you get a little less stupid.
You'd think.
And I'm not putting that on her. I think his cum's dead. So when you're trying to create more replicas of your DNA,
it could drive you to do stupid things.
It can drive you to do stupid things, but that's off the table here, right? So Beth says that her sister looks like she feels safe. And that is a feeling that she has not seen her sister feel a lot in her life. And when she said that you feel safe, did I tear up? Did I start to get a little mushy? Yes, because it does seem as though in a life of just hardship and abuse, Faith finally has peanut butter. And it's stuck to the roof of her mouth right now. I'm just so happy for her, but this is going to fail miserably.
Well, we'll see. Gary chats with her sons. They ask, "Are you in love?" Pretty direct question. Gary says, "Well,
yes.
Yeah, kind of."
Yeah.
And then Beth speaks with Gary, and Gary says Faith gives him peace, and then Beth cries and hopes he doesn't hurt her.
Yep. We move on to a little catch. Gary slams one of the children in the face on a cross route, and then we sit down with the
hold on. He didn't just do that. He's kind of a dick here.
Yeah.
They said, one of the crunchers says, "You going to marry Grammy?" And he says, "Well, I'll tell you if you quit picking your nose, you loser."
Yeah.
And then he whispers down in one of their ears, and he says, "I was carrying a 50-pound bag up Ho Chi Minh Trail, carrying an M16 when you were swimming around in your daddy's balls. Enough with the fucking third degree, you little shit."
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. You ever heard of my lie? I have. I saw it.
Anyway, Gary talks with
you know
the
what
family.
Straw looks like soaked in blood, son? You would think that it would snake its way through the individual follicles, but it doesn't. It coats it in a matte red.
Jesus Christ. The horrors of war.
Oh my gosh, are they yucky?
Well, Gary thanks the family for welcoming him, and the family brings up he's still got one more hometown.
Yeah.
And they kind of revolt on Gary. They order Gary to stay and lay his heart on the line.
And then we get a very big cane drop. I mean, this is the biggest one we've had so far. I mean, these two are looking at each other just head over heels, in love, dropping canes right in front of fucking everybody. And it is two canes because they both say it right back to each other.
They love each other.
So,
Game over.
We have to get to the tiny dance of the woman born in the waters of Minnetonka. We get to a pretty harrowing story right out of the gate. And if anybody was physically capable of doing a leg wraparound, it would be her.
A former dancer for Prince that he wrote a song about. Good running start, though, because you need that.
Yeah.
I think it benefited the incline of the hill that she was on. We get a toddler jump.
Do we really?
We do.
We got a toddler jump?
It was low. It was like about a quarter up his body, but just hey, I got to judge it on the effort.
Yeah.
It was in fact a leg wrap around toddler jump.
Right.
Good for her.
Right. It's like if a bunch of kickers were like, no, I don't even want to kick it, and so they didn't kick it, and then somebody like missed it, kind of barely to the right. You'd go, well, at least he tried. Mm-hmm. And I think I think that's a perfect analogy for what we're talking about, because it's rooted in realism. It makes sense, and with everybody being such avid sports fans who are listening, I think we're all a little better off now. Right. You know what I mean? She tells a story of her father dropping her off at school and her brother picking her up. Her inquiring where their father is, and the brother saying, "I'm your dad now." The father is dead. Now,
was that brother Stuart who we'll meet?
That
later?
was brother Stuart, and when I met Stuart, it made sense that he would say something as insensitively melodramatic as he did on that day, because the story, sure, it's heartbreaking, and I feel for Tiny Dancer, but the thing that really stuck out at me was the lack of tact from her brother. I'm your dad now.
Right.
That really doesn't clarify anything. It is, it's weird.
It's ambiguous.
So yeah, it strikes me as a kind of thing that person had wanted to say for some time.
What? Oh my God. That's awful.
Yeah.
I like how Gary didn't have any further questions. He's just like, all right, thanks for bumming me out.
Yeah, thank you. Eli, Zach, Chloe, the grandkids, and the brother Stuart will be welcoming Gary to the fold. The grandkids are so sweet.
So Leslie and Chloe chat. Chloe's her best friend, right?
Not sure.
Well, it's her daughter and her best friend. And Chloe tears up because she doesn't want her mom hurt. Again, remember?
Yeah.
Leslie's had a tough road.
Yeah. I thought that the brother was going to be the tough test, but the daughter is covered in like Talmudic scripture and stuff, and I was like, okay, she's going to be the tough test. But really, and I said it at the top of the episode, there is no tough test. He is peanut butter, and everybody is spreading him on, be it a saltine, be it a brioche. It's really just enjoyable for everybody. This Gare.
You know what's interesting about Gare Bear peanut butter is how, even though he is a nice, kind soul, he's still able to have strings attached to him, and kind of. As he gives the answers and the responses back to the family, you have to be ambiguous in most occasions for the people that you aren't going to pick. I believe at some point he says something like his bond continues to progress with Leslie.
Yeah. Well, he does tell her that he loves her flat out, cold cocked. I love you, and that's a massive. That is a massive cane drop. And we get to the rose ceremony. Now, this one's going to be a pretty easy one to call, I'd say.
If you don't mind, Dylan, before we get to the rose ceremony back in LA, which there's not much here because we know what happens, but Gary leaves Leslie with these departing words. An old man once told him, a much wiser man, that if you're at bingo night and the lady next to you talks to her friend, steal her bingo cards.
Yeah.
Actually, that wise man said to tell the girl you love her. Wow. It's quite deep.
What did he do? Did he say the bingo thing or?
No, I made that up. I just wanted to see if you were listening.
Oh,
Okay. So we're back in LA.
how would that work? My God, would you have to gaslight the person if they ever turned around? It is easy to gaslight the elderly, though, as they're losing grip of reality. But you would have a tall task in front of you because, let's say they turn to Estelle and they begin talking about watercolor. You steal the bingo card. Ruthie will eventually turn around when the next ball is pulled. And when she doesn't have a card and it's sitting in front of you, that is not a wet paper bag. That is a plastic one and it's cinched. And in order to get your way out of it, you either have to make her convinced that she has Alzheimer's, or, which is really wrong to do over a game of bingo. But the other route you could take is you convince her that it was never hers to begin with.
Correct.
And that it makes sense that it's yours now because your odds are increased and that you might share the prize with her.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Dylan, I'm going to give Gary
The prize? A box of those chocolate bars that one of the people running the hospice ward took from a underprivileged child out on the corner of Van Nuys, and he shoved him. And he took the chocolate and he's going to give it to the dead people now.
Are you high?
Yeah.
All right, rose ceremony. I'm going to ding Gary. He gives a nice speech, and then he basically says, it's about me now. So I'm going to probably hurt someone, but, I got to think about me. I get it.
Fucking quarterback's back. I hate when quarterback's back.
Gary picks Leslie first.
Yeah.
And then he's leaving Faith and Teresa on the dais. And rather than just man the fuck up, dude,
Yeah,
pick
peanut
who
butter.
you're going to pick, send home who you're
Get
gonna
crunchy peanut butter.
He chooses to crawl in a corner and weep, and thus torturing the other two women still standing there. Come on, dude. Come on.
Can I tell you what pissed me off so much?
Here, please.
What? Quarterbacks welcoming all the ladies. Leslie goes, he told me he loves me. Quarterback goes, oh, Leslie. Jesse, what the fuck was that? What are you doing, man? What is that feigned thick quarterback bullshit you're pulling? Oh, Leslie.
Well, hopefully quarterback brings more to the table next week at the Women Tell All.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm really excited to see Bingo again. I'm really excited to see Creature. I'm really excited to see so many of our favorite gals. Creature and, I would...
That thing better not be 2 hours.
Oh, no, listen, I would welcome it, but I don't think it will. It would be better if Teresa had been... taken out so that her and Kathy could have the blows that they need to share.
Oh, yes.
But hopefully we see Sandra. Hopefully she's okay. I do think that she'll probably still be under the weather as it's, what do you think? It's been 8 months? Jump in the iTunes, ratings, and reviews, leave 5 stars, kind words. Join us on patreon.com for lots of fun content, uncensored episodes, ad-free episodes, PMZ, APS, tears, laughter.
And support our sponsors, too.
And
Microdose. Head over there and buy something, will you?
Of course. You like to get microdosed up, get microdosed up. Link is in the show description. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye!
Later, dudes!
There's a lot of stuff on TV, but not all of it's good. In fact, a lot of it's